Welcome to the Tempo Store Meta Snapshot Breakdown. The meta hasn't seen much change lately as Rogue and Warrior continue to dominate the game. These two classes are far above the rest, making them the clear choice for those looking to climb ladder. Mage and Hunter are closely behind these classes as they are good but still slightly weaker than Rogue and Warrior. Mage and Hunter make up 5 out of 7 of the Tier 2 decks. This is due to their decks being strong against 1 or 2 of the Tier 1 archetypes, making them solid choices for counter picks. Aside from some deck moving between Tier 2 and Tier 3, things haven't changed much lately in the meta. Before we take a look at the Tier 1 decks, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to keep up with the rest of our Hearthstone content. Now let's take an in-depth look at Tier 1. Tier 1 continues to feature the same decks as previous snapshots did. It's clear that these decks are the ones to beat. All of them are powerhouses and can win games they have no purpose winning. In tournaments, we even see these decks being able to tech for their bad matchups, making them even stronger. Tempo Rogue continues to be the best deck in the game. Players are struggling to find decks that can compete with Rogue aside from the other Tier 1 decks. Even in its bad matchups, Tempo Rogue can easily win by drawing the right combination of cards. With Open Cups played daily, some players have even began teching in Chef Nomi into their sideboard in order to beat Warrior. Tempo Rogue beats nearly every deck in the top 2 tiers, but its best matchups are against decks like Mid-Range Hunter and Dragon Conjurer Mage. These two decks are built to prey on slower decks, so Rogue is able to beat them more consistently. The only deck that beats Rogue in the top tier is Control Warrior. Warrior is made to beat faster decks, and thus Rogue is a good matchup for it. Bomb Warrior remains as the second deck within this tier. Bomb Warrior is consistent and can reach its key turns fairly easily. It's also a well-rounded deck and takes advantage of the cycle-heavy combo decks such as Mechathon Warrior and Nomi Priest. Once the player draws all of their cards, the Bomb Warrior can use its bomb effects to guarantee 5 damage per card, making it very easy to kill your opponent. Bomb Warrior struggles against decks with several threats that are difficult to remove, as it has less survival cards than Control Warrior. Cyclone Giants Mage, for example, is a very bad matchup for it, as the near-endless pressure prevents the Warrior from ever gaining a stable footing. Control Warrior is the final deck in Tier 1 as it continues to prove its durability. Dr. Boom Mad Genius is a card that can feel overpowered to many, and makes the game feel much less interactive at times. Thanks to this card, as well as the rest of the cards in the Warrior's arsenal, Control Warrior has become an oppressive deck. Control Warrior's best matchups come from aggressive decks that struggle against endless waves of removal. Both Tempo Rogue and Secret Hunter fall victim to this. The worst matchup for Control Warrior currently is against Mechathon Warrior. Unless you discover a lot of pressure with Elysiana or use combo disruption to stall the Mechathon's win condition, this matchup is near unwinnable. Control Warrior can almost never kill Mechathon Warrior before they assemble their combo, making the matchup horrid. As the meta has mostly stabilized, there hasn't been many new decks popping up. Instead, let's take a look at one that has seen a spike in both popularity and win rate. Cyclone Giants Mage is a different take on the standard Dragon Conjurer Mage. Instead of focusing on mid-range threats such as dragons, the deck aims to generate large swing turns using cheap spells and mana cyclone. This deck can also draw much faster than the other version due to Stargazer Luna. With this list, you can play Giant faster in the majority of games by drawing faster, but you lose the ability to high roll and get a turn 3 Giant. One thing's for certain though, this list can be so much more fun and rewarding to play due to the miracle-esque turns that the deck can have. Try this deck on the ladder and let us know how it performs for you. Tier 2 continues to be the place where decks that nearly miss being overpowered land. All of these decks are strong, but they're slightly weaker than their Tier 1 counterparts. Let's take a look at the top 3 decks of Tier 2. Agro Mech Hunter finds itself leading this tier for the snapshot. In the previous edition, it found itself right under Dragon Conjurer Mage, but they've recently swapped spots. Agro Mech Hunter continues to prove itself as a real deck that can compete with some of the top decks in the format. The deck initially came to be thanks to its favorable matchups against both Control and Bomb Warrior, making it a solid choice for ladder. Players who queue this deck want to avoid playing against Tempo Rogue or Secret Hunter, as both decks can clear the board while developing one of their own to close out the game. Dragon Conjurer Mage falls one spot in Tier 2 as Hunter overtakes it. Make no mistake, Mage is still in a fantastic spot. Players have begun playing this archetype less as they flock to the new variant of it. As time passes, players will likely return to this archetype as it's slightly more well-rounded. Dragon Conjurer Mage does really well against any slow warrior deck, as they simply can't remove the constant threats that you can summon. Usually they'll find a way around the first few, and then the last ones will stick and close out the game. The bad matchups for Dragon Conjurer Mage are anything that's super aggressive, such as both mid-range Hunter and Agro Mech Hunter. Both of these decks can apply enough pressure before the large taunts come out, preventing the mage from ever having a turn to rest. These games often come down to if the mage can randomly summon multiple taunts or not. The final deck we'll be taking a look at in Tier 2 is Mid-Range Hunter. Mid-Range Hunter plays just like it did in the previous meta, using Master's Call to draw a lot of minions, giving you the ability to continually apply pressure. The deck will do some insane things with Scavenging Hyena, and can often win games out of nowhere because of it. Mid-Range Hunter is a good choice for ladder if you're running into a lot of Conjurer Mages, as the deck can reliably kill them before they hit their power turns. If you're running into a lot of Tempo Rogue, avoid playing Hunter. The Rogue can clear your board easily and prevent you from putting on enough damage to close out the game. If you're looking to gain an edge on the ladder, you should aim to counter the meta to the best of your ability. As Tempo Rogue and both of the Warrior decks are very different from one another, you should choose one to focus on targeting. The popularity of each deck will vary by rankings, so base your decision on your local meta. If you're encountering a lot of Control Warrior and Tempo Rogue, Mechathon Warrior would be a good choice. Against Rogue, you have access to the removal cards you need to stave off their pressure, and against Warrior, you can reliably combo without them disrupting you. Against Rogue, don't hesitate to use the Boom Ship on an empty board to generate a tempo swing, as the Rogue will struggle to deal with it. If you're encountering a lot of Bomb Warrior, try playing Mech Paladin. This deck can make a lot of sticky threats that the Warrior will struggle to deal with. After sticking a few large minions, you can usually close out the game by becoming the aggressor. Make sure you focus on making a few large minions as opposed to using your mechs as smaller ones in order to avoid diluting your pool for Kangur's endless army. The meta continues to find itself without many developments. Decks are being refined and matchups being mastered, but for now there aren't many new decks to try. If you're looking to climb the ladder, make sure to try a few different options from this tier list. We hope you enjoyed our Meta Snapshot breakdown. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Let us know in the comments what decks you've been having most success with. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.